Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. Been trying to slow down on my purchases, which has given me an opportunity to dig into the backlog. And this will be the final video of the year from backlog to catalog. These are purchases, some recent, some going way back that I finally listened to enough where they are graduating from the backlog into the official collection. I'm going to do these in no particular order at random, so it's fun for you. And hopefully fun for me because I don't know what I'm going to choose. But let's start with this one. Now, I did a full unboxing on this. If you go to my playlist and you go to favorite box sets, there's a whole video donated to this. I got this album the beginning of the year. This is John Wetton's An Extraordinary Life, a magnificent box set. It's got his 6 studio records plus 2 bonus CDs of just outtakes and rarities. It is just a beautifully done box set. It's in book format. You got 4 CDs there. You got 4 CDs in the back. And it is just a magnificently done box set. Lyrics, reviews, comments, even from John on each of his 6 solo records. I go through it page by page. Go again to playlists. Go to favorite box sets. You'll see a full unboxing on this box set when I got it at the beginning of the year. But I have finally listened to it completely enough where it is in the collection. It's really good. Honestly, some of it sounds not overly polished. Some of it almost sounds like really good demos. Some of it is just outstanding. But very kind of AOR-ish. A lot of ballads. Kind of sounds like the poppy side of Asia. Now, I like Asia, but this is very AOR, not very proggish. But it's really good. Certain stuff on there, battle lines, things like that, is just amazing. So, really glad that I have it in the collection, An Extraordinary Life, from John Wetton. That's 6 studio albums, 2 bonus disc box set. This is one I got from the flea market. This is a bootleg, In the Garden, and this is 30 years of Bob Dylan. This was that Bob Fest that they did at Madison Square Garden. They have officially released this on CD, but this is a bootleg live from the actual broadcast. So this is raw. It sounds perfect, but, it's unedited, so to speak. And no overdubs. I'm not sure if they did much overdubs on the official release, but I thought it would be fun to have this, and it is a great, legendary show. I also have it on Laserdisc. There's the track listing right there. There's a couple songs in the beginning that are edited to fit it on 2 CDs. But classic concert, and fun to have it as a bootleg as well. Bob Dylan, a tribute, In the Garden. This is one of those official releases. This is The Who. They released their own bootleg kind of a series, and they did every concert on this tour from 2002, or most of the concerts. And I thought this would be fun. This is One Tour New York. That is where I live on Long Island. This is known as Jones Beach. And this is 2 discs, the complete concert. And these are soundboards. They sound really good. And they only sold them on the Who website at the time. But I found that actually at my flea market for $5, and it's a good concert. This is one I recently picked up for $1. This is Spike from Elvis Costello, the deluxe edition, 2 CDs. I've been listening to it a lot. Interesting album, actually. Very wide variety. It's kind of all over the place. Different styles. Of course, Veronica was the big hit. And you get a second disc of demos, which are really high quality as well. So glad I got that. I'm a big Elvis Costello fan, but his discography is so damn huge that I don't have everything. And for some reason, I just never had Spike, but now I do. And you probably saw my review. This was only not that long ago. This is the Rolling Stones. Welcome to Shepherd's Bush. This is the 2 CD DVD, Blu-ray, 2 CD Blu-ray. I did a whole review very recently. Go to my videos, and this thing was only, a couple days ago. When did I do this thing? Yeah, 5 days ago. So feel free to check out that whole video. I do a review of it song by song, the whole thing, the 2 CDs and the Blu-ray. So that's the Stones at Shepherd's Bush. Apparently, it's the lowest selling Stones release like ever. So what a shame. But what a shame. Terrible artwork. Let's keep going. This is the time of the year for your Christmas albums, and this is one I got a while back. Blackmores Night, Winter Carols. They have since redone this, I believe, as an expanded edition. But this is good, and I actually had our family holiday party not that long ago, and I was playing this and the Jethro Tull Christmas album on random, and it was awesome. This is a excellent, excellent Christmas album. So feel free to give it a shot. I think you're going to love it. Blackmores Night, which of course is Richie Blackmore and Candace Knight. Really good band. Let's keep going. This was my one and only Ronnie Montrose album. I got this at the flea market for $1, and it was called The Speed of Sound. This is an instrumental album, and I really liked it. Obviously, he's a tremendous player, and at one point I had that classic Montrose, legendary debut Montrose album, which I don't have anymore, but I might have to pick it up. I really thought this was a terrific instrumental album. I really liked it. It's an interesting one. Rick Wakeman. This one is on a cheapie label. This is called Legends Rick Wakeman. But the reality is this is a re-release of another Rick Wakeman album called Almost Live in Europe. And it's awesome. I am a big Rick Wakeman fan. When he's great, I just think he's amazing. And something like this, you get a great selection of classic tracks from his different albums. Especially King Arthur, I love that. And The Six Wives of Henry VIII is classic as well. And it's really good. This was raw live, but it's a great performance. And I just loved it. But he's he's so prolific. He's like Frank Zappa. He must have 200 albums. So when he's great, he's great. Let's keep going. This is a Mike Oldfield album I never had called Amadon. And it's good. You know, one of those that I gotta be in the mood for, but glad that I have it to add to my Mike Oldfield collection. Let's keep going. Another bootleg. And I love bootlegs, and we talk about it on my channel every once in a while. This is one I got at the flea market, and this is a killer one. This is Van Morrison and Rave On, and this is a live performance from Glastonbury in 1987. It's a soundboard. And this is a killer performance, perfect sound quality. And this is from a time of Van Morrison that I absolutely loved. Cleaning Windows, beautiful vision. He was really strong at that point, in my opinion. And that is a great live bootleg. This is a cool bootleg collection from U2. This is called Jesus Was a Cool Guy. And this is 100% pure live acoustic U2, and that's what it was. These are all acoustic live performances. Real raw, but really great. I am a big U2 fan, and I have a lot of bootlegs from them, and they're just really fun on bootleg to have. So that's that one. This is not a bootleg, but a live one. This was called Harry Chapin, the Bottom Line Encore Collection, recorded January of 1981. And this is his performance from the club, The Bottom Line in New York City. I used to see shows there. Didn't see this one, but a really fine purchase and a really fine performance from a tragic death, for sure. Harry Chapin, legendary Long Islander. I had shown this when I got this. I have the vinyl album, but this was a cool one. This is Black Oak, Arkansas, the complete Raunch and Roll Live. This is the 2 CD set. This is not easy to find out there. You have to find this one on the collector's market for sure. But this was a reissue of the 2 shows that were recorded. And you got Over Here and Way Over Yonder. Some, repeat of the tracks, but the complete Raunch and Roll Live. If you like Black Oak, Arkansas, and I mentioned him in Acquired, Voices, Jim Dandy. But really fun band for sure. Now, let's keep going. This is one I got at the flea market for like $1. People said I was going to really like it. You're right, I did. This is Jackson Browne, David Lindley, and I think it's called En Vivo Contino. Love is Strange. It's a really cool performance, like nice packaging, 2 discs, and it's kind of like an acoustic performance, but interesting instrumentation and really cool set list. There's a lot of speaking in between, and very enjoyable concert. I like Jackson Browne. I am not a completist in any sense with Jackson Browne, but when I like him, I love him. And this was a really fun album. Glad I got that one, and glad you told me to keep it. Another live one I got here, Joe Jackson Trio, Live Music Europe 2010. I'm a fan of Joe Jackson, and I seem to have a lot of live albums from him, but I'm a fan of live albums. I just think he's a really underrated artist. Came out in that new waves time, but he's so much more. He's really like a real artist, like Elvis Costello. They do a lot of different things, and he's always excellent live. This is one I found for like $1. The Best of Grace Slick, and I'm going to keep it barely. It's really not all that good. When she's great, like, classic Somebody to Love, White Rabbit, and some of the other ones, she's great. But some of this stuff is mighty schmaltzy, let's just say. But, to have The Best of Grace Slick all on one disc, I'm going to have it for the archives, but not something I'm going to listen to all that much. Let's keep going. And this was another bootleg. And I was not sure if this was a misprint, but you guys told me it wasn't. And this is awesome. This is called Crosby, Nash, and Young. And this is called Water Brothers. But yeah, this is Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young without Stills. And it's a phenomenal recording. And it's a great, great concert. I can't tell you how much I loved listening to this. So I'm never knew about them performing without Stills as Crosby, Nash, and Young. But boy, great show. And this is another example. I feel like we've been talking about bootlegs on my channel every once in a while. That's a great example of when bootlegs are so important, because that's not released. I didn't even know about it, and I'm a fan. So, man, that was great. Here's a real one. Joanie Mitchell at Newport featuring the Joanie Jam. And this is when they got her to come back out fairly recently. And it's really nice to have. I'm glad I have it. Brandi Carlile kind of puts the whole thing together. And she is such a Joanie fan, which is a wonderful thing. But for me personally, I just kind of find Brandi Carlile annoying on this album. She's almost patronizing and she's doing it out of love for Joanie, but it comes off, in my opinion, a little bit patronizing. And Joanie laughs a lot in it, nervous laughter. But musically, it's amazing. So glad that I have it. Joanie Mitchell at Newport. I'm going to say New Paltz. That's where my daughter went to school. All right, let's stick you up there, Joanie, without you falling. Okay, let's keep going. Here's a recent purchase that I actually got at the concert. This is Alan Parsons, the One Note Symphony live in Tel Aviv with the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. This is a deluxe DVD, 2 CD set, and opens up like this. And I absolutely loved the concert I went to. Did not have an orchestra, but I thought Alan Parsons was amazing live. Great set list. He's so good. And the fact that he was performing here with a symphony, I had to buy it. And I was not disappointed. This is an amazing concert. This is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. I mean, I know all the songs, or pretty much knew all the songs. But Alan Parsons with a symphony is a great mixture. And for me, when that mixes so well, like Renaissance, it doesn't mix all that well all the time. But certain kind of progressive bands, when they play with a symphony, it just merges and you go to heaven. And I got to tell you, Alan Parsons mixes beautifully live with an orchestra. If you're not familiar with this album, One Note Symphony live in Tel Aviv, pick it up. If you like Alan Parsons, you will love it. And of course, it has a DVD. So you really can experience it. Great, great stuff. All right, let's keep going. What else did we pick up? I got a couple more Chris Rea albums. here in the United States, he's pretty much unknown, but I've become a pretty big fan over the last 5 or 6 years. And when I'm out in the wild, if I find a deal on a CD, I pick them up. And I got 2 recently, and I like this one a lot. This is called King of the Beach, and that's the track listing. And this one has a couple of bonus tracks on it, which is always nice. And it was terrific. And this was one that was a Japanese import that I found. I didn't even know it was Japanese when I bought it. But this is one that's called Tennis. Unusual cover, to say the least. But there it is. And again, another fine, fine album. No need to put one against the other. They're both fine. I do think I prefer King of the Beach, but they're both fine. And my Chris Rea collection is growing strongly. I got to tell you, I'm becoming quite the fan. Really great. All right, we got 3 more here that I'm going to show you. And they're all from the same artist. I had done a video about Canadian artists, and one of the great things about the give and take on this channel is I try to turn you onto music, but you certainly turn me onto music. And in the upcoming year, I already have stacks of new artists that I got. Joe Ely, I must got 16 of his albums. I got like 11 John Prine albums, and I don't know really any of their music. So that's for the beginning of the year. Richard Hawley's another one. But you told me to get into Ron Sexsmith, and I did. I picked up 3 albums of his, thanks to you, this year. And the first one I had picked up was Forever Endeavor. And then I picked up Whereabouts. And then I picked up the debut, which a lot of people said is his best one. I am a fan of all 3. I really, really like them a lot. Ron Sexsmith right there, the debut. There's the tracks. And Whereabouts was really good as well. Looks like that. That's the backside. And the first one I ever listened to was this one, Forever Endeavor. And I think this is the one I like the best. But maybe because it was the first one I heard. And that sometimes happens. If you like an artist, maybe you lean on that debut for you to debut, which for me, this is his debut. But all 3 are really, really strong. I really like him. And part of the appeal, I think, for me is I'm such a big Kinks fan, such a big Ray Davies fan. And even my wife, who is not a big music person, and you'll eventually meet her in a video, I was listening to him, and she was like, man, that guy kind of sounds like Ray Davies. And he does. And I mean that in a good way, even though I know, obviously, Ray Davies is British and Ron Sexsmith is Canadian. But maybe it's just the way his phrasing, and some of it sounds very Kinks-like, and I mean that in a great way. So Ron Sexsmith, a big success for me, because he's a new artist for me, and we'll see at the end of the year wound up where he, figures in. But 3 really strong records that I really like. One more I'm going to show you, and that was a box set I got at a yard sale for like $3, I think. Last year, I finally got to it, and this is the Doobie Brothers, Long Train, running 1970 to 2000. I like the Doobie Brothers. I would never consider myself a really big fan, and the problem that I have with the Doobie Brothers is that I don't like Michael McDonald. Don't hate me for that. He's one of those guys that just annoys the hell out of me. Remember the 40-Year-Old Virgin movie, and they always had Michael McDonald playing, and they wanted to like smash the TV screen? That could be me. I am just not a fan of Michael McDonald. So the Doobie Brothers for me are like, and they really are, they're like 2 bands in one. I can totally get into the early Doobie Brothers, China Grove and Blackwater and that kind of stuff, but the later stuff with Michael McDonald gets to me not in the best way. This is the booklet, really nice booklet. It's a really good 4 CD box set. The 4th CD is like rarities and things like that. For me, really only half of this box is really worthwhile, the earlier stuff. And I already have like Doobie Brothers' greatest hits and the live ones. So I'm glad I have it. I paid like nothing for it, but not going to be a go-to box set for me too often. So there you have it. This is my haul from Backlog to Catalog. If you know my channel, when I make these purchases and I show you hauls, they don't get into the catalog. They don't get on the shelves. They got to earn their way. And I got backlog of maybe 300 albums, give or take, and hopefully I'll get to them. But they do not go into the database or on the shelves until I hear them enough where I'm comfortable that I feel like I know them. And not all of them make it. You know, I would estimate a good 25% of stuff I buy just doesn't cut it, and I sell it or give it away. So that's about it. As always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I'll try to do another video by the end of the year because I promised you when I hit 3,000 subscribers, you're going to meet my wife. That's what you guys wanted. And now she's going to do it. I just got to get her to sit down and do it. But I got your questions, and hopefully we'll have some fun. That'll be something really different. But thanks so much again. If I don't speak to you before Christmas, because when is that? Coming up soon. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday, whatever you celebrate. And I'll see you probably one more time before New Year's, I'm sure. Thank you so much. I will see you next time on the Alan Rosenberg Show. And if you want to comment about this, feel free, because love your comments. All right, I'll see you around.